My daughter threw a party while I was at work, and her sister got assaulted. 1 year later, this happened. And I never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am. I'm a single mom of 3 kids: Ethan, 22M, Zoe, 17F, and Lily, 13F. My husband Jack passed away unexpectedly 2 years ago from a heart attack, leaving me to raise our children alone. Jack and I met in college. He was studying engineering, and I was in nursing school. We fell in love quickly and got married right after graduation. We had Ethan when we were both 25, and it felt like our lives were falling into place perfectly. Jack was an incredible father. He coached Ethan's little league team, never missed a single one of Zoe's dance recitals, and was always there to read bedtime stories to Lily. He worked hard as a civil engineer, often taking on extra projects to ensure we could afford family vacations and extracurricular activities for the kids. I worked part-time as a nurse, which allowed me to be home more with the children. Everything changed the day Jack died. It was just a normal Tuesday. He kissed me goodbye in the morning, ruffled Lily's hair, and headed off to work. I got a call around noon from the hospital. Jack had collapsed at a job site. By the time I got there, he was gone. The doctor said it was a massive heart attack. There was nothing they could have done. The kids took it hard, each in their own way. Ethan, who was 20 at the time and in his second year of college, threw himself into his studies. Zoe, then 15, became withdrawn and moody. And Lily, only 11, cried herself to sleep every night for months. I had to step up and be both mother and father. I took on more hours at the hospital to make ends meet, often working night shifts. Zoe, being the oldest at home, had to take on more responsibility, especially when it came to looking after Lily. At first, she seemed to handle it well. She'd always been mature for her age, and I was grateful for her help. But over time, I noticed changes in Zoe. She became more secretive, spending more time on her phone and less time with the family. I chalked it up to typical teenage behavior and the grief of losing her father. I tried to talk to her about it, but she'd just brush me off, saying everything was fine. Lily, on the other hand, seemed to be doing better as time went on. She joined the school's dance team, made new friends, and started to smile more. She and Jack had always been close, and I worried she'd never recover from losing him. Seeing her slowly come back to life gave me hope. Then, last month, everything fell apart. I was working a night shift at the hospital, and I'd asked Zoe to watch Lily, as I'd done many times before. I trusted Zoe with this responsibility. She'd been babysitting Lily for years without any issues. I came home the next morning to find the house a mess. There were empty beer cans and pizza boxes strewn about, and the unmistakable smell of marijuana lingered in the air. My heart sank as I realized Zoe had thrown a party while I was gone. I found Lily curled up in her bed, sobbing. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me something that made my blood run cold. 2 of Zoe's friends had sexually assaulted her during the party. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. How could this have happened in our home? How could Zoe have let this happen to her sister? I immediately called the police and took Lily to the hospital for a rape kit. The next few days were a blur of police interviews, hospital visits, and tears. Lily was withdrawn and scared, flinching at every loud noise and refusing to leave my side. When I confronted Zoe about what had happened, her reaction shocked me. She shrugged it off, saying Lily was probably exaggerating and that she needed to loosen up. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This wasn't the compassionate daughter I'd raised. As the investigation progressed, more disturbing details came to light. Apparently, Zoe had been trying to set Lily up with one of the guys who assaulted her. She knew these guys had a reputation for being aggressive with girls, but she didn't seem to care. When I asked her why she would do such a thing, she said she thought it would help Lily grow up and stop being such a baby. I was horrified. How could Zoe be so callous about her sister's trauma? I've always known that Zoe could be a bit self-centered at times, but this was beyond anything I could have imagined. It turns out that Zoe had been jealous of Lily for a while now. Lily had recently started to blossom, losing her braces and growing into her looks. Zoe's friends had started paying more attention to Lily, and I guess this bothered Zoe more than I realized. The past month has been a nightmare. Lily has completely withdrawn from everyone. She's quit all her activities, including her beloved dance classes, and refuses to go back to school. She spends most of her time in her room wearing her dad's old sweatshirts and barely eating. I've tried to get her to open up to me, but she just shuts down. Zoe, on the other hand, seems to be in denial about the severity of what happened. She's been going out with her friends like nothing's changed, and even had the audacity to ask me if she could throw another party. When I told her absolutely not, she accused me of overreacting and said I was ruining her social life. I'm at a loss for what to do. I've always tried to be a good mother, but I feel like I've failed both of my daughters. I should have seen the signs that Zoe was jealous of Lily. I should have been more strict about parties and who Zoe was hanging out with. And now, I don't know how to help Lily heal, or how to make Zoe understand the gravity of her actions. To make matters worse, Ethan found out about what happened and is furious with Zoe. He wants me to kick her out of the house, saying she's a danger to Lily, but I can't bring myself to do that. Despite everything, she's still my daughter, and I worry about what could happen to her if I send her away. I've been trying to keep it together for my kids, but I'm struggling. I miss Jack terribly, and I keep wondering what he would do in this situation. Would he be as lost as I am? Would he know how to fix this? I've been thinking about moving us to a new town, hoping a fresh start might help Lily heal and give us all a chance to rebuild. But I'm worried about uprooting Lily when she's already so fragile. And part of me feels like running away won't solve our problems. I don't know what to do. How do I help Lily recover from this trauma? How do I deal with Zoe's betrayal and make her understand the consequences of her actions? How do I keep my family from falling apart when it feels like everything is crumbling around us? Any advice would be appreciated. I feel so alone in this, and I'm scared that I'm not strong enough to get my family through this crisis. Update 1. It's been 2 months since my last post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support. It meant more than you know. After much deliberation and several heated family discussions, I made the difficult decision to send Zoe to live with my sister, Karen, in another state. Karen has always been close to our family, often spending holidays with us and acting as a second mother to the kids after Jack passed away. She was horrified when she learned about what happened to Lily and immediately offered to take Zoe in. It wasn't an easy decision, but I realized that having Zoe in the house was doing more harm than good for Lily's recovery. The constant tension and Lily's fear of running into Zoe's friends were hindering any progress she might have made. Zoe didn't take the news well. She screamed and cried, accusing me of choosing Lily over her and saying I never loved her as much as her siblings. It broke my heart, but I knew it was necessary for everyone's well-being. The day Zoe left was one of the hardest of my life. As we packed her things, I found myself remembering all the good times. Her first steps, her elementary school graduation, the time she won the science fair in 8th grade. How had we gone from those happy moments to this? Lily has been seeing a counselor specializing in trauma, and while progress is slow, there are small improvements. She started eating more regularly and has even ventured out of her room a few times to watch movies with me. It's not much, but it's a start. The counselor suggested we start a routine to help Lily feel more secure, so we've been having breakfast together every morning and taking short walks in the evening when the neighborhood is quiet. The legal process has been grueling. Both of Lily's assailants were arrested and charged. We've had to attend several court hearings, which has been incredibly difficult for Lily. However, she's shown remarkable strength. During the last hearing, she insisted on reading her victim impact statement herself. I've never been more proud or heartbroken watching my baby girl stand up to her abusers. One unexpected development came when one of Zoe's other friends, Megan, reached out to me. Megan and Zoe had been best friends since middle school, always giggling together and sharing secrets. I'd always liked Megan and was disappointed when she and Zoe seemed to drift apart last year. Now I know why. Megan told me that Zoe had been struggling with drug addiction for the past year, something I had no idea about. Apparently, Zoe had been taking Adderall and painkillers, and the guys she invited to the party were her dealers. This information shed new light on Zoe's behavior, but it also made me realize how much I had missed as a mother. Megan explained that she had tried to talk to Zoe about her drug use, but Zoe had pushed her away, accusing her of being judgmental. Megan said she'd wanted to tell me for months, but was afraid of betraying Zoe's trust. She finally decided to come forward after hearing about what happened to Lily, feeling guilty that she hadn't spoken up sooner. I decided to confront Zoe about this during one of our weekly phone calls. At first, she denied everything, but eventually broke down and admitted to her drug use. She said it started after Jack died, as a way to cope with the grief and pressure of being the responsible older sister. I felt a mix of anger, guilt, and sadness. How had I not noticed my daughter was struggling so much? Zoe told me that the drugs made her feel numb, which was better than feeling the pain of losing her dad. She said she liked how they gave her confidence and made her feel like she was in control. But over time, she needed more and more to get the same effect. She started hanging out with a rougher crowd, the kind of people who always seemed to have access to pills. That's how she met the guys who assaulted Lily. I asked her about the night of the assault, and Zoe broke down completely. Through her sobs, she admitted that she had been high that night and wasn't really aware of what was happening. She said she remembered Lily trying to talk to her at one point, but she had brushed her off, too focused on impressing her new friends. The guilt in her voice was palpable, and for the first time since this all happened, I felt a glimmer of hope that maybe my daughter was still in there somewhere, buried beneath the drugs and bad decisions. Ethan came home for a weekend to help with Lily and give me a break. It was during this visit that we had a long, honest conversation about our family. He confessed that he had suspected something was off with Zoe for a while, but didn't know how to bring it up. He said he'd noticed changes in her behavior when he came home for holidays, but had chalked it up to typical teenage moodiness. We both realized that in our efforts to keep the family together after Jack's death, we had inadvertently created an environment where secrets and resentments could fester. Ethan admitted feeling guilty for not being around more, saying he'd thrown himself into his studies as a way to escape the pain of losing his dad. I shared my own feelings of inadequacy, wondering if I'd been so focused on keeping the family afloat financially that I'd missed crucial signs that my children were struggling. As for Lily, she's slowly opening up more. She told me that on the night of the assault, she had tried to call Zoe for help, but Zoe had ignored her calls. This revelation made me realize just how much Zoe's actions had betrayed Lily's trust. Lily said she had always looked up to Zoe, seeing her as a protector and role model. Now, she feels lost and betrayed, unsure of who she can trust. I've been struggling with my own feelings of guilt and inadequacy. I keep replaying the last few years in my head, wondering what signs I missed, what I could have done differently. The weight of being both mother and father to 3 grieving children while dealing with my own loss has been overwhelming. Despite all this, I'm trying to stay strong for my kids. I've started looking into family therapy options, hoping that we can all learn to communicate better and heal together. I know it's going to be a long road, but I'm committed to helping my family recover from this trauma. I'm also considering legal action against Zoe's dealers. The idea that these men were not only selling drugs to my teenage daughter, but also assaulted my younger daughter makes my blood boil. I want them to face consequences for their actions. As we navigate this difficult time, I'm trying to take it one day at a time. Some days are better than others, but I'm holding on to hope that we'll get through this together. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but I'm determined to help my family heal, no matter what it takes. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and our family has gone through some significant changes. I want to share what's been happening and how we're coping. Firstly, the legal proceedings against Lily's assailants have concluded. Both men were found guilty and sentenced to prison terms. The trial was grueling, with Lily having to testify about the assault in excruciating detail. There were moments when I wasn't sure she'd be able to go through with it, but she showed incredible bravery. While the guilty verdict doesn't erase what happened, it has provided some sense of justice and closure for Lily. Lily has made progress in her recovery. She's returned to school part-time, starting with online classes and gradually transitioning back to in-person learning. It hasn't been easy, and there have been setbacks. She had a panic attack on her first day back and refused to return for a week. But with support from her counselor and a few understanding teachers, she's slowly adjusting. One unexpected development has been Lily's newfound interest in painting. It started when her counselor suggested art therapy as a way to express her emotions. Lily took to it immediately, spending hours in front of her easel. Her paintings are often dark and turbulent, but there's beauty in them too. It seems to be a therapeutic outlet for her, and I've noticed a spark returning to her eyes when she's creating art. As for Zoe, she's been in a rehabilitation program for the past 4 months. After our phone call where she admitted to her drug use, I knew she needed professional help. My sister Karen helped me research programs, and we found one that specializes in treating teens with both addiction and trauma issues. It was a difficult decision to send her to rehab, but Zoe surprised me by agreeing to go. I think the reality of what happened to Lily, combined with the consequences of her actions, finally sank in. The program has been challenging for her, but she's sticking with it. We've had some emotional phone calls where she's expressed remorse for her actions and a desire to make amends with Lily. Zoe's been doing a lot of work on herself in rehab. She's been attending group therapy sessions and working one-on-one with a counselor to address not only her addiction, but also the underlying issues that led to it. She's talked about feeling overwhelmed after her father's death, like she had to be strong for everyone else while pushing down her own grief. The drugs became a way to numb that pain. Ethan has been an incredible support through all of this. He's taken a semester off college to be closer to home and help out. His presence has been a stabilizing force for all of us, especially Lily. They've always been close, and having her big brother around seems to make Lily feel safer. Ethan's been taking Lily to her counseling appointments and art classes, giving me a chance to pick up extra shifts at the hospital to cover the mounting medical and legal bills. I've been focusing on my own healing as well. I started seeing a therapist to work through my feelings of guilt and grief. It's been hard confronting my own shortcomings as a parent, but I'm learning to be kinder to myself and recognize that I was doing the best I could in impossible circumstances. We've also made the decision to move to a new town. It wasn't an easy choice, but we all felt it was necessary for a fresh start. Lily was anxious about the move at first, but she's slowly warming up to the idea of a new beginning. We've been looking at houses online together, and she's even started talking about what color she wants to paint her new room. One unexpected development has been the response from our community. When word got out about what happened to Lily, we received an outpouring of support. Meals were delivered, offers of help poured in, and Lily even received encouraging letters from other survivors. It's been a reminder that there's still good in the world, even in the darkest times. As we prepare for this new chapter in our lives, I'm cautiously optimistic. We're not out of the woods yet, but I can see a path forward. We're learning to communicate better as a family, to support each other through the hard times and to celebrate the small victories. There are still challenges ahead. Zoe will be finishing her rehab program soon, and we'll need to navigate her reintegration into the family. Lily still has difficult days where the trauma feels overwhelming, and I'm still learning how to balance being there for my kids while also taking care of myself. But for the first time in a long time, I feel hope. We're not the same family we were before all this happened, but maybe we can be stronger, more compassionate, and more united as we move forward together. Update 3. It's been a year since my original post, and I wanted to share one final update on our family's journey. We've been living in our new town for 6 months now, and it's been a positive change for all of us. The move was stressful, especially for Lily, but it's turned out to be exactly what we needed. Our new home is in a quiet neighborhood with lots of trees, which seems to have a calming effect on all of us. Lily has adjusted well to her new school and has even made a few close friends. It wasn't easy at first. She was anxious about being the new girl and worried that people would somehow know about her past. But her art teacher has been incredibly supportive, encouraging Lily to express herself through her paintings. She's still painting and has started taking additional art classes at a local studio on weekends. While she still has tough days, Lily has made incredible progress. Last month, she gave a speech at a survivors support group, sharing her story to help others. I sat in the back of the room, tears streaming down my face as I listened to my brave girl speak about her experiences and her journey towards healing. I couldn't have been more proud. Zoe completed her rehab program and has been sober for 8 months. She's living with us again, which was a decision we made as a family. It hasn't been easy, and there have been tense moments, but we're working through it. Zoe is attending a local community college and has a part-time job at a coffee shop. She's also volunteering at a drug rehabilitation center. sharing her story to help others struggling with addiction. One of the most significant developments has been the slow rebuilding of Zoe and Lily's relationship. They've started having weekly sister talks where they discuss their feelings openly. It's been painful at times, but it's also helping them reconnect. Last week, I overheard Zoe apologizing to Lily for not being there for her the night of the assault. It was a raw, honest conversation that left them both in tears, but I think it was an important step in their healing process. Ethan has returned to college but visits often. He's become more protective of his sisters, but he's also learning to trust Zoe again. The four of us have monthly family meetings where we discuss any issues or concerns openly. It's not always comfortable, but it's helping us communicate better. I've continued with my therapy and have joined a support group for single parents. It's been incredibly helpful to connect with others who understand the challenges I'm facing. I'm learning to balance being there for my kids while also taking care of myself. I've even started dating again, something I never thought I'd do after losing Jack. It's been strange and a little scary, but also exciting to feel those butterflies again. There have been setbacks along the way. Lily had a panic attack when she ran into someone who looked like one of her assailants. Zoe struggled with cravings and almost relapsed once. But each time we've faced these challenges together as a family. One of the most significant developments has been our involvement in advocacy work. Lily, with our support, has started speaking at schools about consent and sexual assault prevention. It's been healing for her to turn her painful experience into something positive, to feel like she's making a difference. As for me, I've started a support group for parents of trauma survivors in our new community. It's been incredibly rewarding to help other families navigate similar challenges. I often think about how lost I felt a year ago, and if I can help even one parent feel less alone, it's worth it. Looking back on the past year, I'm amazed at how far we've come. We're not perfect, and we still have work to do. But we're healing. We're talking more, laughing more, and supporting each other in ways we never did before. This journey has taught me so much about resilience, forgiveness, and the strength of family bonds. It's also shown me that it's possible to find light, even in the darkest times. To anyone out there facing similar challenges, I want you to know that there is hope. It's not easy, and the road to healing isn't linear, but with love, support, and perseverance, it is possible to come out stronger on the other side. Thank you to everyone who has supported us through this difficult time. Your kindness and encouragement have meant more than you know.